When I had the honor of introducing Alice McDermott here at Boston College 11 years ago, I noted that she had written 5 novels over the past 20 years, the longest just over 250 pages. These were, in the order of publication, The Bigamist's Daughter, which she published in 1982 when she was not yet 30, followed by That Night, 5 years later, a finalist for the Pulitzer and the National Book Award. That, in turn, was followed by At Weddings and Wakes 5 years later, and then 6 years later, in 1998, by Charming Billy, which won the National Book Award, and then in 2002, Child of My Heart. In 2006, she published After This, and then just this past fall, her 7th novel, Someone. All but the first were published by Farrar Straus and Giroux. 7 novels, each one more exquisite and heartbreaking than the last. Someone, about an Irish household in Brooklyn going back to the 1920s, is so deftly presented, one reviewer wrote, that even the damp shirts and the school blouses on the clothesline have some import. For the young girl, Marie, views them as hung upside down by their hems, their arms waving in a way that made me grow dizzy in sympathy. She's a rebel, this young girl, and she's going to do things her way, even if it means burning the loaf of bread her mother has asked to watch in the oven because Marie's father needs her. And then like that, the next day, her father is in the hospital, and Marie, after searching for the right window, finally sees him waving to her and her mother as if from behind the sky's reflection, from a place from which, it turns out, he will never return. Alice McDermott's world consists of Brooklyn and Queens and the vast reaches of Long Island, though she has written of those places mostly in exile, in San Diego and New Hampshire, and now the mother of 3 just outside Washington, D.C., where she lives with her husband, a neuroscientist, and teaches in the Johns Hopkins writing program. I love her fiction world for many reasons, not least because much of her world is mine and my wife's as well. And it's exhilarating to see that busy, jumbled, too often gray world transformed through her sacramental imagination. Yes, her sacramental imagination. For her, fiction is as much about texture as it is about narrative, about the way we remember and disremember. It is our fallen world, gone now, that she remembers, recording angel that she is, a world somehow miraculously restored, even as we realize that it is also gone forever. The attempt to recover what keeps disappearing over the horizon. This is what she shares with Virgil and Proust and Dickinson and Stevens and Hopkins and William Carlos Williams, who confessed the end that we come to watch time's flight as we might watch summer lightning or fireflies secure by grace of the imagination, safe in its care. By grace of the imagination. It's a phrase that musics more ways than one, as Alice McDermott's work so subtly and so profoundly shows, where the recording angels of history are always present, just off stage, revealing the quotidian in the golden luminosity we, like children, seem to be intent on stripping from it, but which the necessary angel of the imagination gracefully, sacramentally restores. The present-day mentality, more perhaps than that of people in the past, seems opposed to a God of mercy. John Paul II wrote not so many years ago, "For ours is a time which seems to remove from the human heart the very idea of mercy, something we hunger for without realizing how much we need that mercy. Yes, we need justice, but we need mercy even more. And it is just there, in the shadow of God's mercy, that Alice McDermott offers us in her fiction an exquisite, comforting mercy like no other." Alice McDermott.